Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's astrologer Eric Rosen here today to give you a special video horoscope for a new moon in Libra that's coming up officially on Friday, October 16th, approximately 2:30 in the afternoon if you're in the central time zone like I am here in the St. Louis, Missouri area. So I can do a special video on a new moon, a full moon all day long and tell you all the great things that are going on. But the reason in particular that I wanted to step in and do a horoscope on this one is because this new moon is fucking mind blowing. I'm just going to throw it out there and almost just kind of shake out the excitement that I have when I look at this new moon. In fact, when I first looked at the chart, I couldn't even process what was going on. I mean, I picked up a little bit, but I'm just like, whoa. Like, just for a little bit of astrologer speak for a second, when astrologers look at astrology, they're looking oftentimes at what are the aspects that are being made between planets and the sun and the moon and asteroids like Chiron. And every single one of them has an aspect going on, with the exception of Chiron, which is a good thing that I'll get to. And so anytime that you have, for one, a new moon where it's like everybody's like in the party, it's going to be something pretty awesome, right? That's even before I even just like tear into the astrology to say exactly like what's going on with it. So the big thing, this new moon, okay, and this is always when the sun and moon come together. It's a brand new, fresh start. It happens every month. It's in Libra. It's in the sign that deals with partnerships, that deals with harmony, but it's being challenged by Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto all in Capricorn. And so when you get those planets in Capricorn, you're dealing with some really big, heavy stuff, some long-term destiny aspects, some grow up or shut up a little bit. It's kind of like at this point, it's like if you're still hanging out with Chiron that's not in the party and you're still whining about your life, like you got to get over it. We're all hurting right now. There's things in all of our personal lives right now that suck, but it only sucks to our mind. If you go deeper into a deeper space of your core, you'll realize that the red carpet is being laid out right before you for everything that you've ever wanted. But there also has to be a surrender moment of all the things that don't belong, that are not in harmonious frequency with everything else that's going on in your life. And that can trigger some people because it's like, well, I'm in this relationship, or, I've got to look out for this person. And it's like, that's all old school, traditional Capricorn stuff that's been dying off and shedding this year. That I have to do this. It's like, no, dude, like the only thing that you really have to do in terms of responsibility is the one that you have to your own heart, of the things that you really want to be doing. And the beauty of it is that we're all uniquely designed, that when you do that, nobody's left without. No, the only person getting left out of the party is Chiron in Aries. That's like, well, I wanted it to look this way. It's supposed to look like this. And it's like, who are we to think that we're so smart, that we're so self-righteous, that we think that we know what's best for the collective, everybody in the world? The thing is you can set your sights, you can set your GPS coordinates and set your new moon intentions for a place that you want to go. But this is about being okay with shutting doors to old things that just haven't worked out and not trying to mess with them anymore, and setting coordinates for something that's going to go into a better, more positive space in your life that has more to do with probably going through some tremendous discomfort and fear, if I'm being honest. This is bringing up self-worth stuff, huge, with Uranus opposing Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. And so it's like, if you want the greatest show and if you want to be a part of it, you got to understand that the greatest show on earth exists in a space in your higher mind right now. You can't get hung up in the little details of what reality's been giving you with a Venus in Virgo. So there is this surrender moment. It's kind of like Venus is in Virgo, kind of like holding two cups, which Venus doesn't like to be in Virgo because it's kind of a nitpick energy. Like Venus wants to feel good, but it's got to do all the work in Virgo sometimes without the payoff. But it's like holding these two cups where it's like, okay, I've got kind of the reality that I've been putting up with for a long time. We'll call it the matrix, if you will, of just like sitting slumped over, trying to get somewhere, trying to make life better. The facts aren't adding up, things aren't going anywhere. And then in the other cup, you have this opportunity where, especially if you're willing to like throw away all the old library books of the way that you've governed your life for your entire life, and you just open up, maybe God, maybe Spirit will pour something in that cup and fill that cup. Now, it might be like kind of a trickle, I mean, not just get filled up right away. But this is the understanding, though, too, that anytime we talk about this metaphysical stuff, astrology, whatever it is, we have to understand that everything is made up of energy. And so things always have to shift on an energetic front first. Your mind, your body, your heart, it's all got to be in the frequency of what it is that you want and be willing to receive it and know your worth. And so stop messing with the old stuff. But that's got to all happen first to align with that, and then for it to manifest. Like three-dimensional stuff, that's the very end product. And it's going to turn up looking really weird with a Uranus and Taurus and a Chiron and Aries if we're not really clear and concise and rooted with Spirit, with God, on the things that we truly want. And I'm just going to be honest, with the Uranus and Taurus dealing with people and a Chiron and Aries, like a lot of it probably has to do with service, with putting others before yourself. Now, that doesn't mean that opens up a whole can of worms, because people are like, well, I've been putting other people ahead of myself all along. But it goes back to that Capricorn thing. It's not about the obligation of thinking that you have to do things for people because you're subconsciously in a weird way with Neptune and Pisces, like expecting to get something back. Like, well, if I This is this old Protestant work ethic center concept. Well, if I suffer enough, something will come my way. And it's like, no, the moment that you're done with suffering is the moment that you start vibrating in the place that you need to be in order to receive all the things that you want in your life. How about that? It's really that simple right now. So this fresh new start energy is basically coming, on the heels of, like, of course, what's already been a really weird year. But it's like, if you're willing to, there's a big moment of surrender here. If you're willing to be open and curious and kind of drop this Bart Simpson's like a slingshot, like quit firing fucking nasty words to people, whether it's in your own mind or especially if it's, in person. But then the one in the middle that people seem to think is like between their mind and reality, which is social media. Like, stop doing that. Open up to the fact that, hey, maybe you haven't learned everything that there is to know. And so stop speaking from some just shitty, crappy, stinky, dog shit smelling in the woods belief system that's not giving you happiness. So why are you projecting it on somebody else in the first place? Because misery loves company. So it's like, let's get out of the drama and like go and get the things that we really truly want in our lives. When you can lift up this curtain and go into this greatest show, you'll find that all the beautiful partnerships and everything that you have secretly wanted, it's all there, but it's waiting behind the curtain of the place that people are mostly afraid to go to. And that's essentially leaning into the fear, dropping everything that you know and saying, you know what? I've got some feelings moving through me. I don't entirely know what they mean. I've set this coordinate system. Maybe I've got some really good things happen in my life, and I really hope that you do. It may be hard to understand how the hell those facts are going to come together with a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. But a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio is also teaching us where we can just give our minds the opportunity to start to trust, to access truth, to access inner truth from within. It's not going to come from out here. It's not going to come from a book. Hell, it's not even going to come from this fucking video, if I'm being honest. Like, when I'm saying this stuff, this is an opportunity for you to think for yourself, to see that you have a choice. You have a choice to be able to choose. Do you want to keep going down the old karmic road of belief systems and always wanting more and more and more, but always taking the same route that you've been doing for it? Or do you just want to look Pluto in the eye and be like, yeah, I see you there, Grim Reaper. I know that someday I'm going to die anyway. So you know what? Why don't I just do the North Node and Gemini thing and open up to my youthfulness, my curiosity, and just be like, I don't have to try to be the smartest person in the room anymore. I can just speak from the heart. In fact, the language comes out more fluently when you start to do that. I'm doing it right now. So whatever communications that you have to have right now in order to get your life in the direction that you needed to go, yeah, they might be hard. Might not be the easiest thing, but you also kind of know that you probably should have had those conversations a long time ago. So it just gets more difficult. You know, the message with God, it just always gets louder, right? Like, you get the message and then you have a fear and you're like, no, I can't do that. The mind wants to stay in the comfort zone until eventually it gets to a place where God forces it out of your life. But what we don't realize is that it's not just about something finally getting forced out of our lives. It's about looking around and saying, what's left? What opportunities went by the wayside because I was too busy trying to force this to work when I knew it wouldn't? You know, how many times are we gonna miss out on an opportunity? I'm gonna be honest, like, if anybody is waiting for a reader, an astrologer, a horoscope, a meditation, just anything to like give them, oh, some good news is going to happen on this day, this time with this cycle, and all you have to do is just wait for it. There's some truth to that, but only if you're doing the work. And the work right now is the healing of letting go of those old belief systems and saying, you know what, this hasn't been working. This hasn't been getting me to where I want to go. Reacting to people and situations in a harsh way without at least neutralizing yourself afterwards and going in and examining, okay, why did I react that way, to get an opportunity to heal. If that's not being done, then the work's not really being done, and then you're vibrating in the same old place and nothing can come through to you. So, you know, if you're someone who feels like they're struggling right now, there's nothing really new and coming in terms of like, oh, here's the silver bullet, you know, the golden ace in the hole, or whatever the hell you want to call it. It's looking back and saying, okay, like, what have I not been paying attention to? Neptune in Pisces is amazing because it opens us up to a lot of our core spiritual essence of like who we are and that connection to God. But it can also just be like, oh, everything's going to be okay, and just like the delusion aspect of it. So with this new moon, this is an opportunity to close the door on delusion, to close the door on old relationships, to close the door on any of your patterns or that don't recognize your self-worth, any of your weird like phobias, you know, like if they keep coming up on a loop, like, oh no, but how do I do that? That comes up a lot. It's like, oh, I keep feeling like I need to do this thing, but I don't know how to do it. It's like, it's Venus and Virgo. It's like you just bring the creativity, the positivity to the little changes, and you bring it into your routine, and then eventually Uranus and Taurus is backing you, Spirit's backing you to like take you to a higher level. But it may like happen just like that, but it's not happening just like that, just from staying the same. It's happening just like that from the Venus and Virgo work of just like, okay, I'm putting the work in, I'm doing it. Capricorn's harsh. So this is not forgetting about like, there are no, I feel like Capricorn's kind of like, I was going to say it's like, you know, first, second, third place on down trophies. There's no participation trophies, but Capricorn, Saturn can be a dick. It can be like, Yeah, they got a first place trophy, and the rest of them like literally got a trophy that says loser. And that's a hard one. That's a hard one to face, but you know what? The the, the astrology, the metaphysical, the spiritual stuff, nothing has changed. It's not revolutionizing anything that we know about the fact that if you want great things in life, if you want your life to get better, you have to concentrate, put the effort into it. You're going to have to go through some fears. You're going to face obstacles. You're going to trip and fall. But it's like, how well can you get back up? You know, don't fall for the fake spirituality of like things are just going to fall in your lap and that you don't have to have any connection to God and your consciousness of where your attention, where your mind and your thoughts are going in your day-to-day life. I'll be honest, the North Node in Gemini, and this is the last thing I'm going to leave you with for this new moon, as you're thinking about like what changes, like what changes can I make in order to essentially just like come in like fresh, like with no putrid energy into like whatever my long-term destiny is going to bring me, whether that's with projects, partnerships, whatever it is that you love to do in life. It's work on your mind. Whether you've got to bring in some writing on a daily basis, whether you need to literally spend the whole day paying attention to where your thoughts are going and thanking that negative thought, be like, thank you, ego, thank you, Chiron in Aries, if it feels like an infantile reaction of, I appreciate you trying to help, you know, because the thing is like everything that we're doing is trying to lead us back to the same place. We all want to be happy. We all want to feel good, you know, desperately. But it's like the ego and the negative thoughts are not going to get you there. They're just like pulling you away from the target. It's almost like parachuting, you know, like where a negative thought, which thoughts, your mind is wind, air energy, okay? It's like parachuting and you're gonna land on the target and then you have a negative thought, oh no, what if I miss it? Or, oh no, like I'm not good enough. Or, oh no, I've gotta go help this person that's toxic in my life. That's like a gust of wind coming in and blowing you away from the target. And so how far away will you land from the target if too many of your thoughts are in a perpetual negative pattern? If you're really negative, it's like, are they drawing you to some jagged rocks on the edge of the seaside, you know, where you're gonna hit some rocks and maybe get lost at sea? I know we want to help people. We do. We totally do. But this is also the understanding that the best way to help people is not falling into the singularity of your ego, thinking that you're the better teacher, the better spiritual person, the better coach, the better whatever it is with your belief system, and that you've got all the goods and the knowledge. This is like Power Rangers Megazord time, where it's like, where can the best components, the tribe that matches your vibration, the tribe with the vibe, come through to create legacy impact? Because it takes a hive mind, it takes a collective to come together. It takes a collective oneness of like-minded people, and I mean like-minded as in they have a common goal of what they want to do, but they're also still open, neutral, flexible enough to allow in different opinions, different perspectives, because it is that hive mind mindset that it's like, it's not about me and being right or being the best. It's about, we chose this common goal to help the world, and so we're going to do it together. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and happy new moon in Libra. Go make it count. This is a big one. The other astrologers that have been doing this even longer than I have are like, I've never seen anything like this. Just to put that in perspective. And so don't fuck this one up. You know, like drop the old stuff and get really clear on your intentions of where you want to go. And honestly, if anything, if you're not really sure what that is, just give it up to God, okay? Just come at it from that heart space and say, whatever it is, God, I surrender, and I just want to take my life into the best, most positive place possible, and I want to see that for everyone in the world around me. And God, I'll be honest, maybe I don't know what that is. Maybe I don't know how to do that because I've been trying to do this the same old way. But God, I want to know my worth. I want to know my power. I want to make an impact. Show me the way. He'll show up. I love you all. Take care.